Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Welcome once again to the internet's favorite pile of cow dung, that wonderful thing that we like to call GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim Gainer. Thank you so much for joining me. I always do appreciate it when you come along for this ride every Friday night. If you are looking for laughs, if you are looking for entertainment, if you're looking for music, if you're looking for the lively out of conversation, boy, are you wrong. No, really, what we do is, if you're new to here, what we do basically is every Friday night for an hour, he said tongue-tied, what we do mainly is we just kind of, we sit around and we talk. This was started a couple of years ago as kind of a safe haven during the whole coronas thing, the whole COVID thing. To just kind of have a place to go where everybody can let their hair down and just kind of be themselves. And it's kind of evolved into how we talk about current events and just kind of hang out. I've got a guitar next to me here that, with any luck at all, we might be able to get to tonight. So we'll find out about that. And if you notice right here, right there, we have got the chat. You don't have to be straining your neck over here all the time to see who's chatting. We actually recreated right here. If you're watching the replay, yes, you can tag along as well. Leave your comments down in the comment section. We will get to you. We will reply to you eventually. Checking the tote board already. Boy, everybody's popping in. Want to say hi to our newest subscribers. Lost Pages, always appreciate you being here. Thank you ever so much. Elena's here. Hey, Elena. And I know what that means. The Danimal is also here. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Gary and the Incredible Edibles in there as well. Gary, always good to see you. Appreciate that. And Amu City saying, I don't have any hair to let down. Hairless as a cue ball is Amu City. I know this to be true. Don't ask me where. But anyway, so this is what we do for an hour, and if you want to pop in, if you're new here, feel free, pop into the chat. We won't insult your intelligence a lot, and we generally just going to have some fun for the next 57 minutes or so. Also want to remind you that coming up after this, what I would recommend that you do more than anything is to please stop by Hugs 24/7 Radio right after this on another piece of bandwidth, hugs at WRGG.com, HUGSAT, the official home of the unsigned artist. Our pal Cyrus Gray is going to have the Hugs Top 10 Countdown. Yes, Hugs has a Top 200 chart of the top 200 independent unsigned artists around the world. What's going to happen is at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, right after this little piece of bandwidth waste, we're going to be, that is to say, Cyrus is going to be counting down the top 10 songs of the unsigned independent artists. So make sure you join him for that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, to be sure. Where to start tonight? Let me put it to you this way. We are 13 days into 2023. 13. Little less than 2 weeks. And already, people are dropping like flies. We're going to get into that in just a second, but that being said, with Simon popping in at the same time, hey Simon, what's going on? I've decided that if this is what's going to happen just in the first 2 weeks of 2023, we're going to have to be prepared. Okay? So in order to do that, we have, and I know we unfortunately have had to do this like every week for a little while. And as far as I'm concerned, Christine McVie started the whole thing. Okay, so just like Lemmy in 2016, yeah, Christine McVie kicked this all off in 2023. So we're going to be prepared for this. And we've started a new segment that we're going to kick the show off with every week. It's a little thing we like to call the Deadpool Report. Let's get into it, shall we? The whole thing started off, obviously, the other day when, no, Simon, it's not the obituary cast, it's the Deadpool Report. Get it right. If you're going to promote something, at least get the name right. But obviously, the whole thing started off on Tuesday when we heard of what I consider to be one of the four pillars of rock and roll's Mount Rushmore when it comes to guitarists. We heard that Jeff Beck passed away at the age of 78. This one hits hard. This one really does hit hard because he had just wrapped up a tour a couple of months ago. He was playing at Montreux and was getting ready to he just released a new album that he'd recorded with Johnny Depp that we're going to get into in just a second here. But yeah, the information from Rolling Stone, and I'm going to read this verbatim. Jeff Beck, the blues rock innovator, 2-time Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, not too many of those. And the man literally revolutionized how guitar was played. He passed away at the age of 78 on Tuesday. The official word from Jeff's family on Twitter, and this is a quote, on behalf of his family, it's with deep and profound sadness that we share the news of Jeff Beck's passing after suddenly contracting bacterial meningitis. He peacefully passed away yesterday, and his family asks for privacy while they process this tremendous loss. What do you say about this guy that hasn't already been said? You know, he's 8-time Grammy Award winner. Like I said, he was twice inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One as a member of the Yardbirds. Obviously, his work with the Jeff Beck Group. And I'm sure you can understand the tributes that have just poured in for this guy. Obviously, Jimmy Page, who was Jeff's bandmate during his days with the Yardbirds, and was inducted with him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2009. He wrote, again, this is a quote from Rolling Stone. The six-string warrior is no longer here for us to admire the spell he could weave around our mortal emotions. Jeff could channel music from the ethereal, his technique unique, his imagination's apparently limited. Jeff, I will miss you along with your millions of fans. Jeff Beck, rest in peace. Yeah, it's like, it's amazing. The Heartbreakers, Mike Campbell. He actually, Rolling Stone ran a piece once of the 100 greatest guitarists, and Jeff Beck was rated number 5, of which Mike Campbell wrote, it's like saying, I'm Jeff Beck, I'm right here, and you can't ignore me. Even in the Yardbirds, he had a tone that was melodic but in your face, bright, urgent, edgy, but sweet at the same time. You could tell he was a serious player and he was going for it. He wasn't holding back. And if you listen to the early Yardbirds stuff, and I'm sure you might have heard one of them at one point in your life, For Your Love, Heart Full of Soul, just any number of those first two albums. He was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. And as a matter of fact, kind of a side note, when Jimmy Page had joined the Yardbirds, Um, I guess they were in a movie. And part of what they were doing, they were going to be in a movie, and they asked Jeff to smash his guitar because this was during the early days of the Who, when Peter Townsend was smashing his guitar all over the place, and he said, "No, I won't." And the the director of the film said, "Well, just buy another one." And according to Jeff, quote, he didn't grasp that you don't do that to most guitars. So they rented 6 beginner's guitars, and they were so cheap they came in a clear plastic bag. Yeah, get those AliExpress guitars up on that stage right now. But yeah, Jeff quit after a little while in 1967. Of course, he did Beck's Bolero, which is one of the greater rock and roll anthems back then. Then he formed the Jeff Beck Group when he played with the likes of Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood. They did 2 albums together, Truth in 1968, Beckola in 1969. They turned out an appearance at Woodstock. And that's when Rod and Stewart and Ronnie joined faces, but they did reunite. That is to say that Jeff Beck and Rod Stewart reunited in 1987 when he did that amazing, positively amazing version of People Get Ready that I regard as probably one of his greatest things. Rod wrote on Twitter, Jeff Beck was on another planet. He took me and Ronnie Wood to the USA in the late 60s, and in his band, the Jeff Beck Group, and we haven't looked back since. He was one of the few guitarists that when playing live, you literally would actually listen to me sing and respond. Jeff, you were the greatest, my man. Thank you for everything. Rest in peace. And then he went on to form Beck, Bogart, and Appice, of course, with Tim Bogart, Carmine Appice. Wrote a couple of great albums. I mean, I could just go on and on and on about everything that Jeff Beck did. I'm very, very bummed over the fact that I had an opportunity to see him. And myself and another person were going to go to see at Ravinia Park in Chicago. There was going to be a concert with Jeff Beck, and the opening act was ZZ Top. How's that for a show? And that was the night before that Dusty Hill broke his foot on the tour bus, and they had to cancel the rest of the tour. So never got to see him, unfortunately. I know a lot of people that got to see his performance at the Crossroads Blues Festival outside of Chicago in 2011, which was amazing. And also, this young lady right here is absolutely astounding bass player, Ty Willenfield, or as I refer to her as the future ex-Mrs. Gainer. She wrote today on Twitter as well. This is what she had to say. She said, Jeff, thank you for believing in me before anyone else did. You stood behind me and told everyone to take me seriously. You treated me like a daughter to the point where Wikipedia actually thought it was true. Actually, I did too. Jeff's light and power were so strong, I was convinced we'd be goofing around and making music till the day I leave this planet. He was forever youthful, fueled so deeply by the muse that basic necessities were last on his list. Are you hungry, Jeff? No, I had a muffin yesterday. We lost our favorite guitarist, and we also lost one of the most intelligent, intuitive, hilarious people I've ever met. I will miss you so much. That's from his bass player, Ty Willenfield. Also another person who is bumming really hard, believe it or not, is Johnny Depp, who, as I said earlier, they had just released an album. They released the album 18 last July 15th. They had collaborated on a couple of songs. According to People magazine, a source told them that Johnny is, quote, totally devastated and he was by his bedside. He was by Jeff's bedside with some other rock stars before he died. They had a really tight friendship. They were extremely close, according to a source. They even got closer. He even got close over this past summer when they were touring together. The sickness came on really quickly, and it all deteriorated rapidly within the last couple of weeks. So yeah, that's apparently what's happening here. Johnny wrote, "It's an extraordinary honor to play and write music with Jeff, one of the true greats and someone I am now privileged to call my brother." He said in a release at that time when they released a single from that. This is a song from his Hedy Lamarr. So yeah, one of the pillars of rock and roll guitar is gone, unfortunately. Jeff Beck, gone at the age of 78. That's what kicked off this week. This is what kicked off this week. If that's not enough for you, just last night, we learned that Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of Elvis and Priscilla Presley, and a singer-songwriter of her own right, passed away yesterday at the age of 54 of a cardiac arrest. Priscilla confirmed in a statement to People yesterday, and this is again a quote from People magazine, "It's with a heavy heart that I must share the devastating news that my beautiful daughter Lisa Marie has left us. She was the most passionate, strong, and loving woman I've ever known. We ask for privacy while we try to deal with this profound loss. Thank you for your love and prayers. At this time, there will be no further comment." So Lisa has gone into, I beg your pardon, Priscilla has gone into hiding. Yes, Lisa has definitely gone into hiding. That's easy to see. Thursday morning, she was rushed into the hospital for cardiac arrest. A spokesman for the LA County Sheriff's Department, paramedics responded to the folks in Calabasas. Californians have such weird names. To treat a woman in her 50s not breathing. We all know about Priscilla. We all know about Priscilla's life, being the daughter of Elvis and Priscilla, going through that life. And let's face it, that was exactly 9 months after Elvis and Priscilla got married. So you can kind of figure out what happened that night. She was raised in Graceland, in Memphis. And then they moved out to L.A. at age 4, following Priscilla's divorce from Elvis. Of course, he died in 1977. Lisa Marie was 9, and that made her the heir to Graceland. Gee, thanks, Dad. I ain't got to worry about nothing from now on. Of course, she married Danny Keough, who was a Chicago-based guy, in 1988. They had 2 children, and they divorced in 1994. And then we all know what happened right after that. Yeah. Less than a month later, she married Michael Jackson. The story, according to People magazine, was that she met him at one of her late father's Las Vegas concerts when she was 7. And Michael was still a member of the Jackson 5. She said once at the time, and this is a quote, again, from People, "I'm very much in love with Michael. I dedicate my life to being his wife. I understand and support him. We both look forward to raising a family." God, can you imagine what that offspring would have been like? And of course, 2 years later, she divorced him. Then a little while later, in 2000, she married Nicolas Cage. Yeah. She met him at a birthday party for Johnny Ramone. And 2 years later, they got married. And then 4 months after that, they got divorced. So obviously, Elisa was a catch. She must have been a catch. Amu City is asking, the question is, did she die sitting on the toilet with a fried peanut butter nanner sandwich, man? God, I hope not. Unfortunately, she also had her own problems in life. For example, in 2020, her son Benjamin committed suicide on what would have been his 28th birthday. And she talked about it right up until the day she died. And she was also a philanthropist, I found out, that she oversaw the Elvis Presley Charitable Foundation, which benefits homeless families, which is very cool. We have found out that she is going to be married, or buried rather. She's not going to get married anytime soon, that's for sure. She is going to be buried at Graceland, for anybody who's worried about that. A rep for her daughter, Riley Keough, confirmed to the Associated Press that she is going to be buried next to her son, Benjamin. And, of course, her dad's there, his parents, Elvis's grandmother. As you can tell, sure, it's like a lot of tributes coming in on this one, too. Nicolas Cage, of course, who we talked about just a second ago, told the Hollywood Reporter, quote, "This is devastating news. Lisa had the greatest laugh of anyone I ever met. She lit up every room. I'm heartbroken. I find some solace believing she's reunited with Benjamin." Leanne Rimes, who she did a couple of songs with, wrote, "I hope she's at peace in her dad's arms. My heart goes out to her family." John Travolta said, quote, "Lisa, baby girl, I'm so sorry. I'll miss you, but I know I'll see you again. My heart and love go out to Riley, Priscilla, Harper, and Finley." And, of course, Pink shared a photo of the two of them when they were on tour a few years ago. She said, "Oh, this one hurts my heart. You were one of a kind, funny as shit, smart as a whip, sensitive, talented, witty, mean, loving, generous, judgmental, but always right and loyal. And you adored your children. Today, the world will lost a rare gem. May your soul rest in peace." So another loss that we have here. Lisa Marie Presley, gone at the age of 54. Checking the tote board real fast. Simon's a little mad that that Lisa was touched by Mr. Mike. Amy City saying, "Simon, you mean she made Mr. Mikey go hee hee?" Yeah, Shumone. Oh my God. You had a better chance to Lisa Marie given your gender, if we are to believe the rumors. Come on, who didn't dream of going to Dreamland with him? Okay, hey, it's cool, Simon. Rock on, dude. Whatever you're down with. That was yesterday during the day. Last night. Oh yes, there's more. Last night, Robbie Bachman, drummer for Bachman Turner Overdrive and brother of Randy Bachman, passed away at the age of 69. Randy confirmed the news on Twitter last night. Another sad departure, the pounding beat behind BTO. My little brother Robbie has joined mom, dad, and brother Gary on the other side. Maybe Jeff Beck needs a drummer. Wow, Randy. Whew, too soon, bro. Too soon. He was an integral cog in our rock and roll machine. We rocked the world together. The details of his death have not been announced. But, again, this is one of those bands. They were inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame in 2014. They're obviously, they're up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in America more than, and why they're not in, I don't know. But, I mean, come on. You ain't seen nothing bad. You ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah, the Not Fragile album, Taking Care of Business, Looking Out for Number One, Let It Ride. Just a great string of hits. Just an incredible string of hits. So, yeah, Randy Bachman, gone at the age of 69. And just as we were coming on the air... wait, hold on. Give me a second here. Hold on. Something coming in here. Hang on. I'm not kidding. Even as we talk right now, we've got a bulletin. Robbie Knievel, the world famous stunt performer and motorcycle daredevil, as well as son of the late great Evel Knievel, is dead of pancreatic cancer at the age of 60. Come on! Are you kidding me right now? Kelly Knievel, Robbie Knievel's brother, this just happened within the last 30 minutes. Kelly Knievel told CBS News that his brother died. Or wait, Kelly Knievel, yes, okay, his brother. I'm sorry. Did I say his sister? What do I know? I'm proofreading this as I go. His brother died after being in hospice care for several days. He was with his 3 daughters when he passed. Kelly Knievel told the Associated Press, "Daredevils don't live easy lives. He was a great daredevil. People don't really understand how scary it is what my brother did." And of course, yeah. Wow. He did a lot of the things that his father did. He, of course, there was the famous 1989 jump. He cleared the Caesar's Palace fountains. He jumped a 200-foot wide chasm over the Grand Canyon, which I remember watching several years ago. He jumped a moving locomotive in Texas in 2000. And afterwards, it was done live on TV, after which he smiled and said, "That was close." Yeah. His brother will be buried alongside family members in Butte, Montana, though information on service is not immediately available. He promoted himself as Captain Robbie Knievel, and he set several stunt records. But he also failed in a couple, too. For example, in 1992, he was injured when he crashed into the 22nd of 25 pickup trucks lined up across the span in Cerritos, California. So, wow. Wowie, wow, wow. Robbie Knievel, gone at the age of 60. Did I tell you? This is going to be a weird year, y'all. This is going to be... Let's just... Back to reality here, shall we, huh? 13 days in. 13 days. And all this has gone down just within the last Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, last 4. Yeah. Checking the tote board here. Amu City and Simon obviously going for it. Amu City saying about Robbie Bachman, I guess he won't be taking care of business any longer. No, they're going to let it ride. You see what I did there? You're right by sister because he's on a Harley, not an Indian. Whoa. Okay. Little bike envy there, Simon? Huh? Okay. That was a customized. That was he at one point, I think when he jumped the fountains at in Vegas, that was on, believe it or not, and I can check this. I have checked it as a matter of fact. It was on a customized Honda. Stew over that one. You forgot about Adam Rich, the little kid from 8 is Enough. Yeah, he died on Saturday. Yes, indeed. Oh, my Lanta, says Lost Pages. Yeah, buddy. Oh, my God. Again, this is just, This is 13 days we're into this, y'all. And Simon will work with me with this. Honda's a bulletproof bike, so I'm good with that. Okay. But yeah, again, this was one of those things, and Simon will attest to this, that back in 2016, I mean, we talked originally, and this was before we brought Chris King and Carl Keegan in, and we talked about how Lemmy had died, Lemmy Kilminster. And we just kind of went, yeah, that's really a drag. But then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. And yeah, even Simon's saying in the chat, oh, God. Yeah, that was a long year. That was a long year. Did you cover Fred White from Earth, Wind, and Fire last week? No, did not. Did not. That came in, unfortunately, that came in after we got everything together, after we did the show. 2016 was a sad year, and 2023 is not looking all that much better. I'm telling you right now. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. But, because it is a new year, and because it is, it's a new year, new me. No, not really. And there's all kinds of things going on with Hugs and with Hugs Fest, by the way. Yeah, and we do have information on that. Cyrus is going to have more information on the Top 10 show. But write it down. Shelton, Washington, June 17th and 18th. Hugs Fest 2023. It is official. Keep listening to Hugs 24/7 Radio. Hugs at WRGG.com. HUGSATWRGG.com. To find out all the information, the updates, band lineups, and the whole thing. But yeah, that is etched in stone. That is for real. You heard it here second. And because, working with Hugs, working in music, looking for things, of interest, and Chairman Hutton, how you doing, Rose? Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by the Gainer Go Round this evening. Boy, you must really have no life at all if you chose this show. Working with music and everything like that, every once in a while, you see albums and there's music that comes into the station and things like that. And some of these, Simon is saying, hey, Hugs, I want to get back into radio. Can I have my own show? We'll call you. Doing great. Thought I was lucky tonight to get to listen. And you are the luckiest human being in the world. This could possibly be the greatest show in the history of the internet. And you were a part of it. Mom and Dad will be so proud. So I'm going through these album covers. And, every once in a while you come across an album or a single, regardless if it comes into the station or just gets sent to me directly or you're going through the bins of Goodwill or whatever the case may be. And these are just some of the album covers. Just some of the albums that you come across. And I understand the statement now. Happiness is somebody worse off than you are. I'm not one to toot my own horn. But here, let's take this first one for example. Let's take this first one for example. How about one from that amazing European act? You'll remember them from the late 70s. Pirates on the Sea. Victory! The Love Boat. Exciting and new. Can you imagine being on a Carnival cruise with these guys? Yeah. So, there's also the one from the Deltones. Do you want to dance? I think you've already got a partner. I'm just saying. This one, between you and me and the four walls, as far as I'm concerned, this one I'm thinking might have already been a Saturday Night Live sketch. Have yourself a rockin' Saturday. Okay, is it me or does Will Ferrell come to mind when you see that? Just throwing it out there. Yes, Amu City, yes, with the Pirates of the Sea, yes, they're in the Navy. Now, in case anybody back in the what about Dr. Hook? Now wait a minute, Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show were a really good band. Okay, come on, Sylvia's Mother, Queen of the Silver Dollar, Cover the Rolling Stone. Yeah, really, Freaking at the Freakers Ball. Don't knock Dr. Hook, man. Until he went disco. He was, I was right there with Dr. Hook, and then, when you're in love with a beautiful woman or sexy eyes, it's like, take your place in the back, okay? Shel Silverstein died, and so did Dr. Hook. That's all I'm saying. Now, for this particular band, this particular album, and it's funny, Amu City, that you bring it up when you've got the Faith Tones, Jesus Use Me. Now, I do know that album. I have seen that album. And when you see the Faith Tones and you think, Jesus Use Me, you think to yourself, yeah, I'll pass. But in case you're ever wondering back there in the 70s, if God is groovy, well, then check out Pastor Peter Twist and the Twist Tones with the Mod Gospel Sounds for the Kids. Yes, I'm telling you, man, this is where it's happening, Pastor Peter Twist. And you know the beauty of this album? It was recorded live. That's right. Live in concert in Indianapolis, man. Pastor Peter Twist and the Twist Tones. Live. Oh. Yeah. I grew up in that day, in that age where there was a real diversity in music. On one side you had the Beatles and the Stones. On the other side you had people like Al Hurt, Herb Alpert. Great trumpeters. But as far as I'm concerned, girls could not resist the triple-tonguing technique of Blow Boss and that killer album, For Girls Only. Who is this album for? Think about it. Amu City also bringing in Wayne Cochran's Going Back to Miami. Wayne Cochran was a legend, sir. Do not knock Wayne Cochran. I had the beauty of being able to watch him live. He was amazing. One of the most electric people in the world of entertainment. I just want you to know. Here's one. Musically Sure Thing. That album cover, though. Oh, come on. I'm gonna find that Wayne Cochran album. I am gonna find it, and I think I'm gonna buy it. I know somewhere on Discogs somebody's got a copy of that album. I have to buy it. Going Back to Miami was a great track anyway, so you just have to have it. Going back to European releases for a second. You, of course, can't talk about Nordic releases without talking about the dulcet tones of Miko Ostojic. Now, is it me? Or does she look an awful lot like the type of neighbor that you have down the street that you just don't want to make mad? You don't want to piss this woman off. I'm just saying. It will end up as a TikTok video if you do. You have to guarantee it. Then, of course, there's always the other side of the coin. When you talk about that classic from the Nernham sisters and their big hit, I Never Loved Him Better Than Today. Great job, girls. I'll leave it at that. Chicago Boy 61 saying, maybe in your neighborhood. Yeah, no, man, you ain't never seen some of the folks down the street from me. We're looking at a whole entire separate exhibit from Ripley's Believe It or Not. You know what I'm saying? I think I saw the music video for that on Pornhub. Yeah, listen, if you're looking for this on Pornhub, you're looking in the wrong place, bro. Either that or there's just some issues that really need to be addressed. Donna Joanne was still, that's my ex-wife. You'll never know, will you? Of course, I could say, but I'm really not down with all that legal litigation right now. Chicago Boy 61, thanks for stopping in. Donna, always good to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody who's been putting up with this so far. It's been one of those nights, to be sure. Back in the 80s. New wave, electronic music, and John Thomas with his great hit, Turkish Treats. Kind of wonder what kind of treats John's talking about. Look at that for just a second, if you will. I'm just saying. So, the Fabulous Knobs. That's right, Emu City. John Thomas and the Fabulous Knobs. Oh, I couldn't read it. I knew what it was when I did the run through, but I just messed it up. Emu City's saying, I've seen some stuff and then some. Sometimes you just got to find something that goes against the grain. Speaking of something that goes against the grain, how about if we all get together and do some fingering and praying for the Lord? Thanks to Loretta Fudge. This one time in band camp, not pretty. Not pretty at all. So, on top of that, if you need something a little bit more secular than that, Lost Pages actually appreciated one of my jokes, which means that I've actually found somebody with as little taste as I have. Thank you very much. If you need something a little secular, we've always got the Inspirations Quartet singing inspiring songs. Yeah. Why do they all have frat boy names? Why do they all have names like Mel, Skippy, Biff, Mordecai, and Lil Bob? And I want to take a really good look at Lil Bob here, okay? I mean, has he... Riddling for all my friends. I'm just throwing it out there. Lil Bob sounds like a new age rapper. See, I hear you. Lil Bob and the Inspirations be spitting truth bullets, if you know what I'm saying. We talked a few minutes ago about Michael Jackson. And If you ever wonder where he got the inspiration for the song Man in the Mirror, you can thank Ulick Roski for that. With his hit, Das ist der Dank. No, it is not Man in the Mirror in German. God, at least I hope not. Donna Joanne is saying, what happens in band camp stays in band camp. Yeah, with real good reasons. Every once in a while, I still have night terrors. So, you want it pure? You want it homogenized? Then look no further than the Holy Milkmen and their hit album, Quartz of Love. The Holy Milkmen delivering Quartz of Love. There's so many jokes about delivery here that I just can't go into it without being at least either demonetized or banned. That's right, Elena. Mordecai. Along with Lil Bob. He's right next to Lil Bob. And on the other side is Mel, Skippy, and Biff. Bob dated Michael Jackson. I think Bob wanted to be Michael Jackson. Just speculation on my part. If you're more a country fan, you got more that folk thing going, then how about giving a listening to Tommy Floyd and his big hit, I've Got Love All Over My Face. Is it me? Or, I don't know. I'm thinking that he had already gotten a delivery from the Holy Milkmen. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. You know? MU City said I saw that on Pornhub too. Yeah, see that. But I think that's the premium service. I'm really not sure about that. I'll tell you, honestly, when you get down to this album, life doesn't get any better than this. What are the three basic elements that you really need in life? Whiskey, girls, and pasta. I mean, seriously now. Does it get any better than this? No, I think not. It's no secret that I spent several years in Europe. Spent some time in Germany. Spent a lot of time in Germany. Yeah, MU City, you're right about that. To quote Tango in Paris, get the butter. And you're going to need it. When you hear the great Danish hit, Goodbye, My Love, from that wonderful Nordic artist, Kok Vanderpalm. You heard me. I said Kok Vanderpalm. Does that sound like you're home alone on a Saturday night, desperate? Somebody holds you up, somebody calls you up. Man, what are you doing? I got a date with Kok Vanderpalm. Going back to Kok Vanderpalm and her 5 sisters. Yeah. There was a great album that was released, obviously back in the 60s, when the web gospel singers asked the musical question, where will I shelter my sheep? I'm thinking in their hair. just a suggestion, just throwing it out there. Yeah. Do these people think about these titles? I don't think there's a whole lot of effort. First off, when do these look like intelligent people? I mean, I look at this and I think to myself, there has to be a relation to the Wiggins sisters and the Shags right there. There has to be. That's what runs into my head. But hey, that's just me. That guy looks like Drew Carey. Yeah, he does a little bit. He does a little. Yeah, Amy City saying it was a simpler time before the internet ruined all of us. No, thank God for the internet. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to see things like this. He dates the guy that has a face full of love. I don't know, Donna. I don't know. When you got two catches like that on your side, that's kind of hard to walk away from. I see a lot of alcoholism in this guy's future. I've got to pass these along to Larry, his style of humor. There's just one problem with this, Elena. These people were serious. Therein lies the problem, you see. Like for example, let's take this one. How about we all get together and never mind about the milkman. Let's say we get a double shot of Willy Hamburger. If Kiss and Insane Clown Posse had a baby, they would be just like Willy Hamburger. What human being, this is what I want to know, what human being looks at themselves in the mirror and says to themselves, I want to look like this. And not only that, but I'm going to get up on a stage and I'm going to perform to people looking like this. Is this what we've been going wrong all these years? Is this what I've been doing wrong? 40, 50 years? And just because I don't look like Willy Hamburger? Is that what it is? Not a joy to say two chicks and sheep. Yeah. That might be one of Lady Gaga's future looks. Yeah, you've got a point there, buddy. You have got a point there. Simon says he'd want to look like Willy Hamburger. Okay, cool. I want to see that picture. I dare you. One more, and then we'll let this slide. One more, and if this isn't, I used to look like that when I was 13. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You did have your emo years. One more. Tell me this isn't a cry. Tell me this isn't a cry out. When the actual title of the album is Help Me by Pauline and Randy. Now, I'm not sure who's crying out help me. Is it because Randy needs to escape the overbearing shadow of his mother? Or is it because Pauline is suddenly realizing that Randy has been watching Psycho one too many times? Pauline has that misery vibe. Yeah, no, I don't think Pauline has that misery vibe, but I really think that she's beginning to realize that there's more on Randy's mind than just girls. You know, those filthy things that will make you less of a person unless you stick with mommy. I mean, really. Look at the title. Help me. Have you tried it? You might like it. Is this an invitation, Elena? I'm just asking. Or is it because you suddenly got a thing for Randy? So yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, I understand Simon says he's going to be 30 this year and he's debating whether or not he wants to put on nail polish again. Hey, dude, you know, if there's things you need to explore, it's perfectly okay. You know, no, we don't judge here on this show. We'll laugh at you mightily, but we don't judge. Donna says, I've heard of them. Check out that butterfly collar he's rocking. Oh, yeah, you know, seriously. Dude, nothing says 1974 quite like that leisure suit. Okay? Meanwhile, Pauline, you can tell, is right back there. Pauline is right back there, you know, thinking that Mamie Eisenhower was a fine, gifted human being. So, you know, Donna's saying, I've heard of them. If you've heard of them, produce the album. Better still, do us all a favor, bury the album. Kill it with fire. And if you like things like this, by the way, you know, first off, let me know in the comments right here, like all these people did. Or, you know, if you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments below. We can look up crazy album covers that we get all the time. Or, you know, weird. We did one on weird ads, vintage ads before we got out of here for the New Year's, things like that. Kill it with fire before it lays eggs. Yeah, I hear you. If Randy was a girl, according to Amu City, Pauline would be talking about how Randy's dirty pillows, yeah, they're all going to laugh at you. Pimples are God's way of chastising you. I don't know what it is about that line that I love so much. So yeah, but sincerely, let us know. Do you like stuff like that? Southern Baptist Circuit, good times. No, I wouldn't have lasted. I would have ended up in jail, possibly on arson charges, because I would have burned something to the ground. I remember when I was, a real quick story before we go, I was 14 and, I was 18, and I went on a trip with a youth group from a Baptist church. And, I sat through a Baptist Sunday, and I got a beard straightener for Yuletide, and my beard looks amazing. That's wonderful, Simon. God bless you. So happy for you, pal. Between that and the nail polish, the girls will love you. Anyway. Oh, this has been one of the more interesting shows we've done in quite a while. For the new viewer going, what in the name of God is going on? Yes, it's like this every week. And we invite you to join us every single week because, as you can tell by now, this is what we do. We just all get together. We have a really good time. And in fact, it's time for us to get out of here. Don't forget, Hugs 24/7 Radio. Hugs at WRGG.com, HUGSATWRGG.com. Got a jet. Buff Corral did his rendition of Shadow Dancing 8 days ago. Wonderful. I need that. I need that in my life. Have yourselves a great week. We'll be back here as always next week. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. We out. Play!